speedways of NASCAR are like a family, yet each member is different. Some large, some small, some forgiving, while others are most cruel. Yet there is something unique about each of them. Each speedway has its own personality, its own pitfalls, its own reputation. Spectators log thousands of miles to travel each year to see this difference, the change it causes in driving styles and strategies. They are harsh taskmasters who demand the very best from man and machine. The opening of Daytona International Speedway in 1959 launched a new era of speed for stock cars. The Daytona 500 in a single year became the great American race, began to rival the long-established Indianapolis 500 in the realm of importance.
Well, out of all the sports, the Super Bowl, the football game, is the last one of the season. The World Series is their last game, but we come to Daytona Beach and play our Super Bowl and World Series the first game of the year.
The Daytona 500. It is a race that can make a season, or in some cases, a career. It builds the superstars of NASCAR. When it comes to size, Daytona does not rule. When Bill France built Alabama International Motor Speedway in 1969, he made it like Daytona, but a little bigger, a little steeper. It speeds a little faster. At 2.66 miles with 33-degree banking, the track is a real brute. It demands speed and raw nerve to conquer the world's fastest competitive closed course. At over 200 miles an hour, Dick Brooks felt the wrath of Talladega. As the car was towed away, everything destroyed, only the roll cage enabled Dick Brooks to go out and play 18 holes of golf the next day. But an accident like that can age a person.
I still enjoy it. It's the enjoyment overcomes the fact of getting a little bit older and the track's getting a little bit rougher, I think.
Which is it? The tracks get rougher or you get older?
Well, it must have something to do with the age, maybe, because it's showing up other places other than on the racetrack.
This track has always been known for fantastic finishes.
Baker in front, in second, that white car, that is Cale Yarborough, and he drops to the inside. Headed for the tri-oval, side by side. A.J. Foyt comes high. It is Cale Yarborough breaking in front. Yarborough pulling away by 8 car lengths. Cale Yarborough will win the Alabama 500. Buddy Baker in second, A.J. Foyt finishing in third, Manning in fourth.
Isaac Pearson and Baker scream down the back chute, heading for the white flag lap. Oh, no, look out. Crawford lost it in the fourth turn, hit the wall, and when he ricocheted across the track, he tangled with the leader, Bobby Isaac. David Pearson threads his way through the mayhem to take the lead. Isaac powered his way right through Crawford, but it slowed him up enough to lose the lead. Crawford is all right and gets out of the car. And here comes David Pearson down off the high bank fourth turn onto the tri-oval for the checkered flag.
The granddaddy of the super speedways is Darlington International Raceway, just over 1.3 miles in distance. This one has never been noted for speed. No sets of turns are alike on this egg-shaped oval. Darlington is the meanest of the super speedways, and it's always been too tough to tame.
In the third turn, Darrell is on him, and Bobby tries desperately to stave him off. Donnie closes. This threesome is glued together and going for a blanket finish. Here they come. Watch it. Bobby Allison does it. In an absolutely spectacular finish, he fires under the checkered flag, winner of the 19th annual Rebel 500, thus putting the Matador in victory lane.
Two super speedways are slightly more than 1 mile in distance. They're the North Carolina Motor Speedway and Dover Downs International Speedway. Each is something of an oddity. These tracks are big enough to join the super speedway ranks, but small enough to inflict all the bruising punishment that comes from a short track.
make his way to the checkered flag as easily as he possibly can. Here he is. Ricky Rudd wins the Delaware 500 at Dover.
Michigan International Speedway is nestled in the Irish Hills, and at 2 miles in length with relatively little banking, doesn't demand speed. What Michigan requires is skill. They run side by side, bumper to bumper, all day. Pocono International Speedway, no other speedway has such a shape. Drivers have to negotiate a tight, high bank first turn, a peculiar pointed second turn, and then a flat-out, old-fashioned fairgrounds kind of corner before they can enjoy the luxury of this wide-open front straightaway. When Atlanta International Raceway was constructed in 1960, it was soon discovered that it had the biggest shoulders of any mile-and-a-half track in existence. Believe it or not, this track's turns are longer than its straightaways. They are long, sweeping, extremely treacherous. Any driver who cannot put his car high, low, or at all points in between doesn't stand a chance to beat this track. Charlotte Motor Speedway, a mile-and-a-half dogleg hosting the longest race on the circuit, 600 miles. It's also been the scene of some bizarre record attempts. Jimmy the Flying Greek Kofas set a record with this leap, one that very few people really want to challenge. In the 1940s, drivers were thundering through the half-mile ovals of dirt that made up Richmond, Martinsville, North Wilkesboro speedways. Today, they're all asphalt. In 1954, a record crowd of 8,500 people jammed the grandstands at Martinsville to watch a thundering herd of stock cars banging down that front chute. And on this very tight half-mile, drivers didn't know whether they were coming or going. Drivers Jim Paschal finally survived this brutal test to take the checkered flag ahead of Lee Petty in a Chrysler and Curtis Turner in a 53 Olds 88. At the start of the 60s, a young upstart captured his second annual NASCAR Winston Cup victory. The man, Richard Petty, and in Victory Circle, he was a very happy driver. Under the guidance of track founder Clay Earls, Martinsville was paved in the late 50s and has become one of the most beautiful facilities on the circuit. It's become known as the little track that thinks it's a super speedway because of its large purses and its sellout crowds. Bristol International Raceway is unusual for a short track. It's just a half-mile in distance, but with 36-degree bank turns, it's like a hippodrome. Necks wear out before cars do because of the constant G-forces. More relief drivers are used at Bristol than any track on the circuit. Cale Yarborough has captured 9 victories on this tough half-mile. And in March of 1973, he not only won, but led all 500 laps. Another milestone in NASCAR's history occurred in 1958 when Riverside International Raceway, a serpentine uphill downhill road course, was awarded a Winston Cup race. The California facility was ranked among the top courses in the world for sports car competition. But the big stock cars? In the 60s, the great road racer Dan Gurney was the driver to beat. But it wasn't long before the world knew the NASCAR drivers could handle a road course as good or better than the sports car set. In the true tradition of California and Hollywood, in-car cameras were a far cry from the technology they've advanced to today. Here, Dan Gurney is charging up through the pack, caressing his way through the S's. Whoops! Cut! In 1986, the famed Watkins Glen road course returned. The Bud at the Glen each year draws record crowds, and road racers the world over stand in awe of the stars of NASCAR as they manhandle this most prestigious road circuit. That's the Speedway family, a group of tracks that make up the richest racing series in America, the Winston Cup. It takes a special breed of athlete to compete week after week on so many diverse competitive fields and emerge a winner.